Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Alex Vescovi, and I'm going to be doing just a quick demo of my lead generation application that I've programmed. Recently finished programming within the last few weeks, and essentially what this is, I'm calling it a lead generator, and it's an application or extension for Dynamics 365 Business Central, all programmed in AL. And essentially what it does is it's a replacement for Microsoft CRM, right? So if you are an end client or a partner and you have end clients that use Dynamics 365 Business Central and they also use CRM, but they maybe don't need all of the functionality of a CRM, or maybe they're just a prospect and they don't need all the functionality of a CRM, or they even think it's a little too expensive, they could use my lead generation slash mini CRM application for Business Central to track leads, and basically it's all kind of focused around leads before it becomes a customer, just like a CRM would, right? So I'll just start by kind of going through the process of inserting some records, inserting associated records, file attachments, notes, contacts. So building out an organization maybe for a lead, sales header record, sales quotes, right? And then convert it to a customer record. And you guys can see kind of how seamless and easy my application is to use. So I'll start by inserting a record into this lead table that I've programmed here. There's two options. So this is a group, and then this is displaying, the two actions I've programmed here. So if somebody just wants to insert an individual record, they can click this action, and then this would run a standard dialog box, and then they can, basically modify these global variables I've programmed, and then it would insert a record in the table, right? So just inserting, records one by one. So we'll just say we'll modify this to partner. This is going to look up to lead type table object type program. We'll say test 201 name, and then test 201 at gmail.com, right? So we'll modify that data. Um, yeah, there will be other global variables displayed here as well. This is just kind of just to get started to insert the record in the table. They would select the OK action here on the standard dialog box, and this would proceed to insert a record in the table. Now, if they didn't have this data filled out, for example, right, this will then revert to biological kick in. So it's displaying a red text and having required with the asterisk symbol, so they know that this is a required variable before they can insert the record in the table, right? If this was the data that they had and they clicked OK, it would not successfully insert a record in a table. It would produce a runtime error. As long as there's data in this variable here, it'll insert the record in the table. The message dialog box will populate if the record got successfully inserted, and it did. And you can see this is the lead record that just got inserted here, right? So now the user can start working with this lead record, modify the status, type, all the other data, address to, modify any of the data in the table fields, right? And then they can start working with this record. Now, the other way to insert a record would be this insert multiple records action. And this is if you're going to be inserting them one by one, but that standard dialog page won't close because this is a card page. It's not mapped to a table, but this is just to insert the records one by one in a quicker fashion, right, to do that. So this is looking up to the type table, right? So this lead type, and this is, users can configure the type however they want, because I've coded a custom table, and, you can insert records in here and have them be whatever value you need to be, right? So test 101. Description, right? How would be the same value, whatever, and you can insert records in here. Okay. I'm just using end client and partner as an example here. So I'll select the end client value, click OK. This will modify that global variable to end client name, right? We'll have this be test 202, and then test 202 at gmail.com, be the value for this email address global variable here. And then they can modify all this other data, right? If they know the address to, city, state, all this other data here, right? So let's say that, the user's ready to insert this record in the lead table. They'll select this insert lead record global variable I programmed here. The logic on trigger on drill down will get triggered. This will populate, basically run a standard or a dialog box here. Are you sure you want to insert the record in the table? If they click no, right, no record will get inserted. If they select yes, the record will get inserted based on this data they have here. If this data here is not filled out, so we'll use this as an example, right? So it'll populate with required again. A runtime error will get produced, and we can see the runtime error that got produced here. Like I said, name global variable must have a value. So if it has a value of required, right, then you can see that with the red text, and that's all from the logic I've programmed. So at least there's a few required variables before they actually can insert the record. They won't be able to insert it. right? So this does need a value. So again, test 202, as long as it does, all the required variables have at least a value in those global variables. Select that global variable here. This dialog box will again run. Are you sure you want to insert a record in the table? They'll click yes, and this will insert the record into the table. And then a message dialog box would populate confirming that the record did get successfully inserted. All right, lead dash 0031 successfully entered the table. Yep, and this is incrementing by 1 from the last record that got inserted in the table, which is stored in another table field in another table. But yeah, you don't need to worry about that at the moment. So yeah, that would insert a record in the table, and then now again they can go through this process again, whatever end client. So this is just a quicker way to insert multiple records one by one, rather than having to, if you're going to do that, right, you'd have to click the action, right, go through all this process. It would insert the record, then click the action again. So if you're just kind of doing 1 or 2 records, maybe you would want to use this action insert records. If you're inserting multiple records, it'll run the card page object. It'll stay on it until the user closes the page object. And you can insert multiple records quickly, one by one here. The other way is importing records through a CSV file. So if you have, right, you're using my application and you're wanting to, bulk insert, mass insert records from your external application, you have those in a CSV file, then you can, bulk insert records into my application as long as you're selecting a CSV file, right? And this would then prompt, the user to select the CSV file. I don't think I have a good CSV file to test with currently. I'd have to look through them. But that would bulk insert records into, my custom lead table here, right? So it could be whatever, 1,000, 10,000 records, whatever, as long as you have them in a CSV file, CSV format. And and obviously there has to be certain, I could obviously give you the template for the CSV format so you know all the table fields that you're going to have data for, and it would bulk insert records into my table, right? So that would be another way. So now that we have some records in here, I'll just go through, again, I don't want to spend too much time on it because I do want this to be high level, but I'll add a file attachment for an associated record, and I'll insert a note record for a lead record as well. Insert a record into the note table object from this action here. You can also do it from the card page object, so I'll show you how to do it from the card page and from the list page, but I want to insert a note record for this lead record here. I'll click on this insert associated records action, insert note action. All right, so we'll modify the note type, say it was an email, right, that was sent. This will look up to the note type table object, and we'll have a note here. So sent John an email following up, right, or whatever this data needs to be. Click OK. So this will insert a record into the note table object for that respective record in the lead table object there. You can see that this message dialog box is populating, verifying that, right? And now if I scroll over to the right to all of my associated record table fields, we can see that the number of notes table field has a value of 1 for this record, right? Because the logic I programmed got triggered, again, to insert a record into the note table for that respective lead record that the user had selected, right, in the table, which you can see whatever record they have selected in the table is the record that's highlighted. So whatever record that they have selected is the record that's highlighted in the table here. Okay, so I'll select this, this integer value here. What this is going to do is apply a filter to the note table object based on the lead record that they had selected. So it's going to show all the note records for lead -00030, right? And it's dynamic. So if there are no records, you'll see this message box populate. If there is a record, it has that filter applied based on the record they selected, right? And they can see, the type, right, which is looking up to the note type table, the note, right? And then the date it was inserted, who it was inserted by, right? And so you can track, all the notes for lead records, right? That way. I will. So that would be for notes. I'll show you how to attach a file for a lead record. So if they select this global variable here, I can even do it, from the card page. So I'll, drill into this individual record for the card page and then select this attach file action, right? This will prompt them to upload a file. So this is going to attach a file for that lead record. I'll just select a file and a file here, select this text file. Yeah, and then if the record gets successfully inserted in the file attachment table for this lead record, this message dialog will populate, and you can see that file attachment record successfully inserted, okay, for this lead record. Now we can even, drill into it from the card page, number of file attachments, just map to this lead table. And now we can see all the file attachments for that lead, right? And if, we can just keep adding file attachments, and then all the file attachments, again, for whatever record that the user is on for this lead record, it's applying a filter to that file attachment table object. So it's only showing, the file attachment records for that respective lead record that they have selected in the table, or that they're on in the table. In this case, if they want to download the file locally, they'll just click this global variable. They'll download the file that's stored in that blob table field. Yep, and then this is the text file that, I just added to the blob table field for that record. And downloaded it locally, so now they can open it up. So that would be, adding a note record for a lead record, adding a file attachment for a lead record. We can also insert sales header records, so sales quotes for a lead record. We can, also add contacts for lead records, right? So building out the lead, obviously, before it gets converted to a customer. We'll just show that one as well. Again, kind of same concept where it's, running the standard dialog page based on the lead record that they had selected, right? And then there's some data that's required, right? The contact name, contact email, job title, right? All that good stuff. I'll just go through the process of modifying this data, inserting the record. So contact email, John Smith at gmail.com. Then we'll just say QA, right? Whatever, quality assurance. Click OK. So now that we have all the required variables filled out, we'll click OK. That then would insert a record into the contact table, and there's now a record inserted in the contact. And again, the same process for this is also, if you want to do it from the list page, add a contact for the record they selected, right? And inserting, right, a record into the contact table for that respective, lead record there. Again, same thing with sales quotes. And then it would open the sales quote right after it got inserted. So you could insert sales header records and quote the leads as well. The last thing that I'll quickly show is converting this lead record to a customer record. So you I've programmed the logic so you can convert the lead record to a customer record, then it's inserting the record into the customer table. This is the standard Microsoft customer table. Based on this lead record, right, that maybe I had selected, or if I was drilled into it and it's opening up the individual lead record, converting it to a customer record with no associated records, right, is the logic I've programmed here, and with associated records is this action here. So meaning all of the associated records that are with this lead record currently would then get converted when it inserts a record in the customer table, if they don't want it to, and basically have it be a clean slate for the customer where it's not then modifying basically would be the source number for like the note records, file attachment records, contact sales or sales header records, right? All of that. And it'd just be a clean say. It's not going to modify all those associated records, and it would not live with a customer record anymore, right? So you have two options. I'll just go through the process because the logic runs a little bit quicker of not convert to customer record, no associated records. So again, this is going to insert a record into the customer table. So they would select this, a user would select this action when they're ready to convert this lead record to a customer, right? It's no longer a lead. They're now a customer using our services, whatever, buying our products. And now, this is ready to be converted to a customer. So I'm going to go ahead and select this action. A dialog box will populate. Sure, you want to convert the lead record to a customer record. They'll select, if they select no, right? No, a message dialog box will populate. No record was inserted in the customer table. And if they select yes, now this will get inserted into the customer table for this lead record. So I'll select yes. Okay, so that inserted a record into the customer table, and you can see the customer number, right? That, for the record that just got inserted into the table for the lead record that the user's on here, right? So that record just got converted to a customer record now. Now you can see this global variable, the customer number. So this is the customer number for the lead record. It's not displayed if there is no customer record for the lead record, as you could see before. And now that this is converted to a customer record, all of these table fields are non-modifiable, right? So all the page fields that are mapped to the table fields, you cannot modify the data in the table field now through the page field. All of them are non-modifiable once it gets converted to a customer record, right? I've programmed that logic dynamically. So again, the user doesn't need to modify these anymore, right? It already got converted to a customer. So now if they need to modify any of those table fields for the customer record, they can, but now this is not modifiable. The record is still in the table. So if a user ever wants to see this record, right, the lead record after it already got converted, it's still in the table. So they can still see all this data. It doesn't, I haven't programmed the logic to delete the record. The user can manually delete it if they want to, right? They could delete it through this delete action I've programmed here. But yeah, it is not, it's still a record in the table if they ever want to go back and look at that record. And now I'll select this so you can actually see the customer record that got inserted from this lead record. So this is this customer record opening up now. This is the one, and you can see all the data. It got transferred right for the number, the name. Yeah, other data got transferred as well. And now this is a record in the customer table, right? And this is, I think my application is unique in this way because there's nothing for this in BC currently. And now you can basically use this my lead generation application or this mini CRM, whatever you want to call it, instead of having to go external and program custom APIs or program custom logic for APIs, to work between like a Salesforce or a CRM. And I program logic like that all the time. Now somebody can simply use my application, and it's all AL logic I've programmed, and they don't have to go outside of Business Central for for a CRM. Now there is a CRM inside of Business Central with my application, and you can see it has all of the functionality that a CRM would need, and it's not as expensive. And now you don't have to go use an external application for a CRM. Hey guys, sorry the end of the video when I was editing it got a little bit messed up, but I just wanted to say thanks for taking the time to watch this video today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to include my contact information, cell phone number, and email address to reach me if you are interested in talking with me about my CRM for BC / lead generation application. Yeah, feel free to reach out to me and we can have a more in-depth conversation about my application, go more in depth about all of the logic I've programmed, and even see more functionality with my application. Yeah, thanks for taking the time to watch this video today. Hopefully it was beneficial and you have a better understanding of how my application works. And again, my name is Alex Vescovi, and look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye.